Hi there. Did you know you can add weather elements into your ArcGIS Pro 3D scenes to give a more realistic aesthetic to your mapping environments? Well, I'm Dr. Jason Van Horn, professor of geography at Calvin University, and today I'd like to show you how to geovisualize weather in a 3D scene in ArcGIS Pro. So here we are in ArcGIS Pro. We have snow falling in the Grand Rapids area. How did I create this? It's actually quite easy, and let me show you how. First, let's go ahead and start a new project so we can go step by step. Here, we have two options for our 3D views. We have a global scene and a local scene. A global scene in ArcGIS Pro is designed for visualizing data on a worldwide scale, and it's used for large geographies that span large regions, or maybe global models, like maybe climate models or something like that. In contrast, a local scene focuses on a smaller area with a planar surface. You can use a map projection, and it's better suited for detailed analysis of like cities and neighborhoods, and that's how I use it. So let's go ahead and use a local scene. I'll click on local scene, say yes to the new project, and now it launches. All right, now the first thing to do is to zoom into our area of interest. Let's go with Grand Rapids, Michigan, where I'm at Calvin University. And instead of going to Calvin, we'll go right to the downtown area. Okay, so here's downtown Grand Rapids. Now we are in the web auxiliary projection. So let's change this to be something like state plane coordinates scene. So we'll do that. Projected state plane coordinates. And Michigan South. Fantastic. And we'll hit OK. And now we'll have on the fly that projection. All right. Once this loads, our next procedure is really to pull in our 3D buildings. So how do we do that? How do we build in our 3D buildings into this scene? Well, it's very easy. ArcGIS folks at ESRI have already built the 3D models for us for our urban landscapes, and perhaps yours is in here as well. And that is through the Living Atlas layers. Under the portal option in Catalog, you can choose your last icon, which is your Living Atlas icon, and you can search for all kinds of layers. In this case, since we're already built into a 3D local scene, I'm just going to choose 3D buildings as my search and see what we get. All right, the first option is ESRI 3D buildings. So I'm going to grab that layer and drop it right into my scene. All right, excellent. And now, since I'm in this scene, I have my 3D controls, and I will go ahead and use my mouse to get exactly where we want to be in our view. All right, fantastic. Now we can see the horizon. So how do we bring in our weather elements? Well, we want to build more of a realistic view with our urban landscape, and we could do so with these kind of photorealism on our buildings and also weather elements. So let's do that. On the main menu, if you choose View, you have many different groups here, and under the Effects group is what we want. Here under Effects, you have Weather Effects. Here we're visualizing it in the default view as sunny. And when I click the drop down, you can see the other options. This one, second one, is cloudy. And so now we've introduced clouds, and you have the ability to adjust some of these parameters, which is really cool. You can have lots and lots of clouds or just a few different clouds. Here is rain, and you can see there's a precipitation slider that allows us to have more intensity of rain and different views of these kinds of weather elements. One of my favorites is snow. Big fan of snow here. And then last is fog. So if you want to build in these more realistic views into your GIS projects in 3D scenes, then you can do so with these weather elements. I hope this video has been helpful to you to geovisualize weather in a 3D scene in ArcGIS Pro. Thanks.